Welcome to the Full Octane Garage. Today we're going to talk about everything that's wrong with our cheap Mini Cooper. We recently bought one of the cheapest Mini Cooper Clubman S's in the country. It's a really cool looking car. It actually meets our Full Octane Garage color scheme, and we thought that it would be a fun project to make some good content. The very first thing we did was buy a good code reader. With the Mini Coopers, they're owned by BMW, so you also have to not only read the generic codes, but you have to read the BMW specific codes. So AutoFix makes a code reader for under $100, gives you access to all the codes, access to reset your lights, reset your maintenance, and diagnose just about anything you need to on the car. There's several others out there. We'll do a different video on reviewing code readers in the future. The very first thing we had to do when we first went to go pick up the car is we needed a battery. So that was $113. We got the battery in, the car fired up, it ran. We were thinking, okay, well, we probably need to do some proactive stuff. Had some oil leaks. It had issues. It had been sitting for about a year and a half, so we felt that we needed to drain the gas. The only problem is that you can't siphon gas out of this car. It's quite a challenge. So we opted to get some 104 octane boost, some Chevron Techron fuel system cleaner, and also some fuel injection cleaner, and a little bit of antifreeze to top the antifreeze off. So all of that was somewhere in the $50 range. We figured the car was going to need an oil change. We brought it home. We did an oil change, put synthetic oil in it. The very next thing we wanted to do is, and the very next thing that you should do is find out the history of your car. This particular Mini Cooper has been serviced at the dealer, so we were able to go to the Mini Cooper dealer and ask them what had been done to the car. We gave them the VIN number. The car has a little over 100,000 miles on it, and they did go down the list of things that it had done. They were a little apprehensive to give us the full list in printout, but we did finally talk them out of it. This particular car has had most of its maintenance done at the dealer. It has had, from an engine standpoint, the timing chain tensioner replaced. It has not had the timing chain replaced, and that was at 98,000 miles, so they felt that at 98,000 miles the chain was still in good shape. So once we figured out what had been done to the car, we realized there were some things that have not been done to the car that we probably should do proactively. One of those is spark plugs. Second is coil packs. And we also found that once we ran it a little bit, we got a knock sensor error. So we figured we were going to replace the coil packs. They're not terribly expensive. We're going to replace the spark plugs while we're doing the coil packs. And the knock sensor. The knock sensor was about $100. The coil packs were in the range of $40–50 a piece, I think. Then you have the spark plugs, which aren't terribly cheap. They're about $50 for a set. So we went through and proactively did that. We also noticed that we were having an oil leak, so we decided that we were going to replace the valve cover. Additionally to that, for that oil leak, we noticed that it looked like the vent tube coming from under the car up to the valve cover had been damaged and repaired very poorly. That was also causing the PCV line to go into the valve cover. The PCV is built into the valve cover of this car, and that's why we opted to replace the valve cover. Not sure whether we were getting a PCV error, because we were getting an error, which was causing a code to throw, causing the motor to go into limp mode. So for about $25 we replaced the hose. For another couple $100 we replaced the valve cover with the PCV, and we got some of the oil leak figured out. We still think we might have a little bit of oil coming from the front and rear main seal, or maybe coming from the high pressure fuel pump. High pressure fuel pump has not been replaced. We did notice also the vacuum pump, or the vacuum pump for the brakes had not been replaced. And if those fail, you run into an issue where it could damage your engine. So we decided to go ahead and be proactive and replace that. The air pump is a $135 item. It's not terribly expensive. So as we go down the list, oil change looking like we were about 35, 40 bucks in parts. I did have to order a special socket for the spark plugs. That was $12. Coil packs, $183. The scan tool, just under $90. Spark plugs, $57. Put some fresh fuel in it. NOx sensor was $90. We also did a couple other things proactively. We noticed that the seal around the rubber seal around the windshield of the cowl cover was going bad. It was rotting out. So we were able to get a replacement cowl cover from ECS Tuning, and for wipers, cowl cover, pinch weld protectors for the jacking, we were at about 223 bucks. We did also purchase a heat shield to protect the heat from the turbo from going into the engine, into the hood basically, and warping the vent, and we have a separate video on that. We also wanted to order a window sticker to find out what options it had, so we ordered a Marconi window sticker for $9, told us all the options. The valve cover and PCV gasket was $215 to replace. We also did have an issue where one of the key remotes was damaged and it did not have a physical key to unlock the door. So we sent that off to the Mini Key Doctor, and for about 80 bucks, he was able to rebuild, put a new case on, put a new battery in. The key that would have costed me $180 from buying it from the dealer, and that's the key fob itself. I did go ahead and buy a new key from the dealer, ordered it. It was only $35, so that wasn't bad. So I'm about $100 or so into the second key for the vehicle, but we feel it's really crucial to have two keys for the vehicle. We also thought the car was extremely quiet. We wanted a little bit more rumble out of it. It is an S, turbocharged, 170 horsepower with a 6-speed manual. Fun to drive, but you also want to hear it when you're driving. So we went to Midas Muffler and had them cut our rear mufflers off and also our resonator. We kept the catalytic converter, so we're all in compliance, and that was $257, and it has a little bit more rumble now. So we're pretty happy with that. So for the cheapest Mini Cooper in the US, what did it take us to get it up and operational to where we feel it's fairly reliable? We spent right at $2,200 on a $2,500 car. So we bought the car for $2,500 bucks, spent another $2,000, say $2,000 even on it, probably a little bit more here and there. So $4,500, we have an exceptional example of a Mini Cooper. We think that it's going to be fairly reliable. They can be a fun car if you fix the things that are going to cause them to be unreliable. Now in the future, what are some things we might see happening in the future? We could see a high pressure fuel pump go bad. They are about 500 bucks, and then they're very easy DIY. All of this stuff I swapped out so far has all been DIY. It's very simple. There's tons of videos out there. We've made a few videos on it. And if you're looking for a fun car just to tinker with, I would not recommend this to anybody as a daily driver. This is Mini Cooper's probably the most unreliable Mini Cooper ever made. And that's what kind of makes it fun. Tinkering on the car, the parts are fairly cheap, so you're not going to break the bank typically if you can do the work yourself. If you have to depend on somebody else to do the work, it can get expensive really, really fast, and I do not recommend this car to you. It is not a good deal at $2,500 if you cannot do your own work. The other nice thing about this particular car, we actually have this insured as a collector car because it's a secondary vehicle. It's not a daily driver. We own full octane insurance, so we have a collection of our own personal cars. We added this to the policy, and it only costs us $105 a year to insure it for full coverage for $10,000. So the beauty of that is, if anything ever happens to this car, gets totaled out, gets stolen, we will get a check for $10,000. The other nice thing about that is that it's full coverage policy. So it's just like, tree falls on it, hurricane hits, anything, I get $10,000. If it's damaged, I can select my own repair shop. So when you're thinking of these cars and thinking of insurance, don't forget to look us up at Full Octane Insurance, fulloctaneinsurance.com, and check us out. We have some exceptional deals. If this car were to be insured as a standalone vehicle for $10,000, it would probably cost you around $200 a year to insure it without a collection policy like we have. Now we've done a few other things. We've actually tinted the windows dark. We have also put 2 stripes down the hood. We felt that it really needed a little more sportiness. And the next thing we're looking at doing is painting the wheels black. So we're going to have it kind of a blacked out, black and red looking vehicle. The one other thing that we are having a little bit of a challenge with is the sunroof. It goes up, it opens just fine, but when you go to put it down, it doesn't always want to go back down. So we're going to have to work on that one, or just not use the sunroof because we run air conditioning, so it really isn't a problem. So, is a Mini Cooper for you? Again, if you can do your own work, it is a great DIY vehicle. It handles great. It gets great fuel economy. When I had the first tank of gas in here that was 2 years old, it took me forever to burn that tank of gas. I was like hoping I would get 10 miles to the gallon, but no, I get 25 miles to the gallon. So it took a long time to burn that fuel up. And now I'm on my 3rd tank of gas in this. The car's running fantastic. It stops good, it starts good, no issues whatsoever. So we also did find out in the service records that it had 2 brake flushes over its life, a recent one actually, so we don't have to flush the brakes. And overall, it's just a fun car. It makes you smile when you drive it. So if you're looking for a cool car, the R55, R56 Mini Coopers, which is the 170 horsepower turbocharged S's, are fairly good cars, and they're a lot of fun to drive, so don't hesitate to get one. Learn to be a DIYer, have a lot of fun with it. It's a great father-son, father-daughter project, wife-daughter project, whatever you want to do with one of these. It's a great project for the family. So, thanks for being with us at the Full Octane Garage. If you have any questions or you like these videos, don't forget to leave some comments, tell your friends about it, come back often, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now, please. Absolutely got to hit the subscribe button. So thanks for being with us at the Full Octane Garage. We look forward to bringing you more fun content, and we'll be back at you very soon.